Trigeminal neuralgia. Imagine your face suddenly getting zapped by what feels like a lightning bolt made of knives. No warning, no logic, just sudden, pure, unfiltered pain. That's trigeminal neuralgia, aka the suicide disease. And yeah, it earned that nickname the hard way. This condition messes with your trigeminal nerve, basically the overachieving facial nerve in charge of chewing, blinking, and feeling your cheeks. But when it glitches, it feels like your face gets hacked by a sadistic little goblin with a taser. Every day, stuff like brushing your teeth, talking, or even wind touching your skin would bring you instant level 10 pain. Now, this isn't your average, ow, my head hurts. This is more like someone just stabbed me in the jaw with an ice pick made of electricity. It comes in sudden, brutal bursts, or sticks around like that one house guest who just won't leave. And the worst part, it doesn't always show up on scans. So people get misdiagnosed, brushed off, or told they're just being dramatic. Doctors aren't even 100% sure why it happens. It could be a blood vessel pressing on the nerve, or your brain just doing its chaotic thing. Meds can help, but sometimes it takes surgery to calm the storm. ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. You know when your phone freezes and no matter how many times you tap it, it just won't respond? That's kind of what ALS does, except instead of a phone, it's your body. And instead of a frozen screen, it's your brain ghosting your muscles. ALS, short for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, is a progressive neurodegenerative disease. The translation, it slowly kills the nerve cells that control your muscles. Walking, talking, swallowing, breathing, yep, all on the chopping block. It doesn't affect your brain's ability to think, though. You're fully aware while your body gradually stops listening to you. It's like being trapped in a mech suit with a dead battery, while still feeling every system failure in real time. Cruel doesn't even begin to cover it. It's also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, named after the baseball player who went from MVP to diagnosis in the span of a season. No cure, no real way to stop it, just a ticking clock and a front row seat to your own body shutting down. Most people live 2 to 5 years after diagnosis, though a few outliers like physicist Stephen Hawking beat the odds and lived for decades. But even then, it's a marathon of medical care, tech devices, and adjusting to constant change. Huntington's disease. Have you ever forgotten your keys, tripped over nothing, and then snapped at someone for asking how your day's going? Well, you've just lived 5 seconds of what Huntington's disease feels like. Except with Huntington's, that's just the warm-up act. Huntington's is what happens when your DNA loads a glitch into your operating system and hits play. Except you can't pause, rewind, or uninstall the update. It's caused by a mutation in the HTT gene, and this little genetic typo doesn't just cause problems, it basically rewrites your life. People with Huntington's don't start out looking sick. At first, it's subtle. A bit of forgetfulness, maybe some anxiety, a slight twitch in the hand that doesn't go away. But over time, it evolves into full-body jerking movements, slurred speech, memory loss, and mood swings that hit like a wrecking ball. It's like your brain is slowly losing connection with your body, and it knows it. The worst part about this disease is that you only need 1 copy of the bad gene to get it. So if any of your parents has it, there's a 50% chance you inherited it. Basically, your family tree becomes a game of genetic Russian roulette. Cystic fibrosis. You're breathing just fine until you're not. Imagine waking up every day like you've got a cold you never recover from. You're coughing, you're wheezing, your lungs feel like they're glued shut with molasses. That's life with cystic fibrosis, aka CF, aka your mucus going full villain. Normally, mucus is the unsung hero of your body. Gross, yes, but helpful. It keeps stuff moving, protects your organs, and doesn't ask for credit. But in people with CF, a broken gene called the CFTR gene turns mucus into the clingiest, thickest, most overbearing roommate you've ever had. It builds up in your lungs, pancreas, and other organs, and it does not clean up after itself. So something as simple as breathing becomes the hardest thing you'll ever do. You won't be able to digest food properly either because of all the mucus clogging your intestines. And if that's not bad enough, infections throw a party and never leave. Your body spends so much energy just trying to keep the basic systems running that it's like living with a full-time job inside your chest. Oh, and CF isn't contagious, but it is genetic. So both parents have to be carriers, which means CF often comes as a surprise nobody saw coming until the symptoms show up. For decades, it was seen as a childhood disease because most people didn't make it to adulthood. But science said bet, and now with advanced treatments like gene modulators and chest physiotherapy, many people with CF are living longer, fuller lives. Endometriosis. You ever had a period so bad it feels like your uterus is trying to punch its way out of your stomach? Now imagine how painful that was, but this time it happens every single month, multiple times. And sometimes the pain hits even when you're not on your period. That's basically what endometriosis is. The condition that somehow still gets brushed off as just bad cramps, even though it's basically your organs playing hide and seek with your sanity. Here's the deal. Endometriosis is when tissue similar to the stuff that lines your uterus starts growing outside of it, like on your ovaries, fallopian tubes, bladder, even your intestines. And just like the normal uterine lining, it bleeds every month. The problem here, though, is that this time it has nowhere to go, so it builds up, gets inflamed, and causes excruciating pain. We're talking can't stand up, cancel your life, curl into a ball pain. And yet, a shocking number of people get told to just take ibuprofen, like they didn't already try that 5 pills ago. It doesn't stop at pain either. Endo can mess with fertility, digestion, mental health, and your entire quality of life. And because it often doesn't show up on scans, diagnosis can take years. Imagine living with a fire alarm that keeps going off and every doctor just tells you it's probably in your head. Parkinson's disease. You drop your keys. Again. Not because you're clumsy, but because your brain's internal wiring is slowly glitching. That's Parkinson's disease, a progressive neurological disorder that turns basic motor functions into a daily battle. It all starts with dopamine, the brain's favorite motivational juice. In Parkinson's, the dopamine-producing cells in a part of your brain called the substantia nigra start dying off. And without dopamine, movement automatically gets weird, slow, shaky, unpredictable. It's like trying to drive a car with sticky brakes and a laggy steering wheel. The first signs are sneaky, maybe a small hand tremor, a softer voice, or stiff muscles. But it builds. Over time, walking gets harder. Expressions flatten, even blinking slows down. You're still in there, 100% you, but your body feels like it's buffering. And no, it's not just an old person disease. It usually shows up after 60, but early onset Parkinson's can hit people in their 30s or 40s. There's no cure yet, but treatment helps. Medications are given to boost dopamine, and deep brain stimulation can act like a pacemaker for your brain. Spina bifida. Imagine your spine is like a zipper, closing up your back as you're developing in the womb. Now imagine that halfway through zipping, your body's like, good enough, and just stops. That's spina bifida, a condition where the spine doesn't fully close, leaving parts of the spinal cord exposed or underdeveloped, and that's not ideal. It happens super early in pregnancy, like before most people even know they're pregnant. And because your spinal cord is the main nerve superhighway between your brain and the rest of your body, when the highway's under construction forever, things get complicated. Walking, bladder control, even learning can be affected. Some people have mild cases and don't even know until later. Others need surgeries, mobility devices, or round-the-clock care. There are different types, but the most intense one is called myeloma meningocele, which sounds like a pasta dish, but is actually the most severe form. It often shows up in a sac on the baby's back where nerves are poking out. This co-induction is mostly a combo of genetics and not enough folic acid during early development. That's why prenatal vitamins are basically the unsung heroes of baby building. Phenylketonuria, PKU. You eat a burger, your friend eats a burger. But if you have PKU, phenylketonuria, that burger could mess up in ways a burger absolutely should not. Why? Because your body is missing the enzyme that breaks down an amino acid called phenylalanine. Yes, it's a mouthful, so we'll just call it Phe. Phe is in protein. And protein is in basically everything delicious. Meat, dairy, eggs, even some artificial sweeteners. Most people break it down without thinking, but if you've got PKU, your body hits the brakes and Phe starts building up in your blood like toxic sludge. Left unchecked, it can damage your brain, especially when you're a baby. We're talking serious developmental issues, intellectual disability, and lifelong problems. The plot twist here, though, is that PKU is totally manageable if you catch it early. That's why newborns get a little heel prick blood test right after birth. If it's positive, boom, special low-protein diet for life. There are formulas, special low-protein foods, and even new meds that help. It's not about being picky, it's literally life or brain damage. Hemophilia. You get a paper cut. Most people bleed a little, slap on a cartoon Band-Aid, and move on. But if you have hemophilia, that tiny cut might feel like a horror movie in slow motion. Hemophilia is a genetic condition where your blood doesn't clot properly. Not because it's lazy, but because it's missing a key protein. Think of your blood like a team of tiny workers patching up damage. With hemophilia, half the team just doesn't show up. It's not about bleeding faster, it's about bleeding longer. People with hemophilia can bleed internally after minor bumps or bruises. A stubbed toe might mean joint pain for days. A small fall could land you in the ER. Basically, your body treats clotting like an optional update it never installed. And no, it's not contagious. You can't catch hemophilia from someone bleeding near you. It's genetic, passed down through the X chromosome, which means it mostly affects dudes while women are usually carriers. Before modern treatment, life expectancy was brutal. People with hemophilia often didn't make it past childhood. Now, there's medication that replaces the missing clotting factor, and some people can live pretty normal lives, with the minor inconvenience of always having to pack a first aid kit. Chronic kidney disease. You know those little bean-shaped organs hanging out in your lower back? Yeah, your kidneys. They're like your body's janitors, filtering out toxins, balancing fluids, managing blood pressure, and basically keeping the whole place clean. But when chronic kidney disease, CKD, shows up, it's like your janitors go on strike, slowly, quietly, and then everything starts to stink. CKD means your kidneys are damaged and aren't filtering blood the way they should. It doesn't hit like a car crash, but creeps in like a slow Wi-Fi connection. At first, you don't notice much. Maybe you're tired, maybe your ankles are puffy, maybe you're peeing weird. But your kidneys are already drowning in backup work, unfortunately. And the worst part is, your body doesn't throw a tantrum until things are really bad. By the time symptoms are loud enough to notice, your kidneys might be this close to failing. Like, hope you enjoy dialysis 3 times a week level failing. Diabetes and high blood pressure are the main culprits, but also smoking, obesity, genetics, and that charming tendency humans have to ignore their health until it's basically on fire. Psoriasis. Severe. Psoriasis isn't just dry skin or a rash. It's your immune system turning into your worst enemy. And with severe psoriasis, your immune system is one wicked villain. Normally, skin cells take about a month to grow and fall off. In people with psoriasis, it happens in just a few days. Basically, your body sends a message to your skin saying, grow, grow, grow! This results in very thick red patches of skin covered in silvery scales that itch, burn, crack, and sometimes even bleed. And it's not just a few spots. Severe psoriasis can cover large parts of your body. Your scalp, arms, legs, back, and even your face. It can hurt. It can make it hard to move. And because it's so visible, it can make people feel super self-conscious. Some folks avoid swimming, shorts, or even going outside because they're tired of the stares and awkward questions. So let's clear something up. Psoriasis isn't contagious. You can't catch it, you can't give it to anyone. It's an autoimmune condition, meaning your body is attacking itself by mistake. Some people with psoriasis also get psoriatic arthritis, which causes painful swollen joints on top of everything else. So now it's not just skin, it's pain from the inside too. Sadly, there's no cure yet, but there are treatments: creams, light therapy, pills, and injections. Lupus. Imagine your immune system as a security guard whose job it is to kick out germs, viruses, and anything shady that comes into your system. But with lupus, that guard goes full mall cop mode, paranoid, power tripping, and attacking everything in sight, including you. Skin, joints, organs, doesn't matter. If it exists, lupus might body slam it just for showing up. It's an autoimmune disease, which is a fancy way of saying your body forgot who the bad guy is. One day, your immune system wakes up and decides your kidneys are enemy spies, or maybe your skin, or your brain. It's spontaneous betrayal with a side of chronic inflammation. It can also mimic other conditions so well that doctors sometimes chase it for years. One day it's joint pain, the next it's extreme fatigue, then a rash that looks like a sunburn but only shows up when you're not in the sun. Basically, it's the catfish of chronic illness. Hidradenitis suppurativa. You ever get a pimple in a weird place and think, okay, rude? Now imagine that, but it's not a simple pimple, but a painful, swollen, boil-like beast that shows up uninvited, stays for weeks, And when you think it's gone, it comes back bigger, angrier, and more intense. That's hidradenitis suppurativa, aka HS, a chronic skin condition that acts more like a personal vendetta than a medical issue. HS usually pops up in places skin rubs together, like underarms, inner thighs, under the boobs, basically all the areas you do not want recurring wounds. And we're not talking cute little blemishes, we're talking deep tunnels under the skin. Yes? Tunnels, drainage, infections, and pain that makes denim feel like sandpaper. Doctors don't know what causes it, but it's linked to inflammation, hormones, genetics, and possibly the universe just being in a bad mood. It's not contagious, just really cruel. And to make things worse, HS gets misdiagnosed all the time. It's often brushed off as acne or shaving bumps until it's stage 2 and ruining lives. Treatment exists, antibiotics, biologics, even surgery, but there's no permanent fix, just management. Fibromyalgia. You wake up exhausted. Your whole body hurts. Not the kind of sore you get after a workout, the kind where your skin feels bruised, your joints scream when you move, and even your hair hurts. Welcome to fibromyalgia, the body's way of saying, what if we made pain a personality? It's a chronic condition that throws pain signals into chaos. Your nerves become drama queens, overreacting to stuff that shouldn't even register. A hug would feel like a tackle. A night's sleep would feel like you ran a marathon in your dreams. Oh, and don't forget the bonus features like brain fog and extreme random fatigue. The worst part is that there's no test for it. No x-ray, no blood work, just years of, maybe it's stress? And being passed around like a hot potato between specialists. People with fibro live in a weird limbo because you could look totally fine while silently battling the urge to scream every time you move.